Hey, it's Friday, so that means it's another Friday Sews. Hi, my name's Claire and this is Stitch Hem Sew. Thank you so much for joining me today for another video. Today's video is a Friday Sews video. Now, Friday Sews was created by the fantastic Jen from Today and Jen's Sewing Room as just a great way of bringing the sewing community together. Now, Friday Sews allows us to talk about anything to do with sewing really, but the idea perhaps is to talk a little bit about things that you've been making, perhaps some plans, anything you've been buying, anything sewing related, and a little bit of life thrown in as well. So that's what I've got for you today, so I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please do give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really love it if you consider doing so. Thank you so much to everyone that's been watching my last few videos in particular, but obviously everybody that watches my videos in general, for all your lovely comments and your likes and things. It really does mean the world to me. I've had lots of lovely comments on my last video, which was my video for the Sewing Challenge, A Gift to November, which is being hosted by the lovely Adam from Adam Sews and Alison from Sew Like Tote. And I was talking through my ideas for what I'm looking to sew up for that challenge, but also just for Christmas presents in general, because quite a lot of them, well, I'm hoping to get quite a lot done during the month of November, and obviously I'll enter those for the challenge, but some of them will definitely roll into December because I did have quite a few plans. So as I say, I've been talking about what I've been up to this week. And I haven't done masses of sewing, but I have done some sort of organising of when I'm going to be doing some projects, and just sort of trying to get a bit of a plan together in my brain at least. So in terms of what I've actually been up to, I decided that I'd like to make some bunting for a couple of friends for Christmas, and I think I spoke about this in my Gift to November video. But I have actually decided to go for slightly smaller bunting, which if you see Jane from the Dressmaker's Closets video, she talks about the fact that she's got a template on her website for bunting, and both sort of a more regular size but also a small size version, and I just thought the small bunting was really cute for Christmas and was a great way of getting quite a lot of bunting without using vast amounts of fabric. So I have made two different sets of bunting. So I'll pull one of them out. So one of them's got a green bias binding on and the other one's got red, but they've both got the same sets of triangular bunting bits on. So it's quite a long ream of bunting. I haven't actually measured it, but it must be over 3 meters, I would have thought. And each one has got a green and red triangle. So one side's green, one side's red, and then I've just sort of, as you can see, alternated the colours. So you could use this either side, it wouldn't matter. Or if you had it hung so that you could see both sides of the triangles, it would still look good as well. So as I say, I've made two sets of that, and this has taken me 4 fat quarters to make 2 sets of bunting, which I just think is amazing. So the triangles themselves just came out of 2 fat quarters, and then I made 2 lots of bias binding with a fat quarter each. So I think that's incredible to kind of get that much out of just 4 fat quarters. I think that's brilliant. So yeah, that's one of my makes that I've done this week, and one of my entries to A Gift to November. I was going to say So Frugal then. That is completely the wrong challenge and completely the wrong time of year. I have also done a few little mending projects, which I'm not going to go into in any detail because they're a bit boring, but essential, and they tend to kind of build up a little bit, and then I had an evening of just mending holes in clothes. I think there was one pair of my son's tracksuit bottoms where he'd gone through the knees, so I've cropped those off into shorts, you know, just boring things like that really, but quite useful to do. So that's another sort of bit of sewing that I've done. And I've also made a start on making 2 tote bags that are Christmas presents as well, and I've only done a limited amount on those so far. I'll show you what I've made. So this is my little sort of stash that I've cut out for my tote bags. I'm sort of halfway through the straps like this one has done. So what I did is I cut a 4-inch fabric strip. I then folded it together and then folded the edges in and then folded it in like you would do with bias binding to create a strap. I've got obviously 2 straps per bag. Each strap is going to have a little inside pocket, so I've just done that out of the main fabric. Now this fabric you may well recognise it is from IKEA. I bought a metre of this fabric a little while ago, so I've managed to get 2 tote bags out of it. I think I've got a tiny bit left, but nothing of significance. So I've cut out the 2 tote bags out of the main fabric. So that's really quite, I think that fabric's really lovely. I think it makes some nice sturdy tote bags. One bag has got this really nice lining, which I think picks up that colour just here really nicely. But I didn't have enough of that to do the other one. So this one's got a more of a creamy lining, but I don't think that is a too bad match for this sort of tone here. I think that goes reasonably well for an inside lining, so hopefully those will come out quite nicely. And as I say, they'll have just like an inside patch pocket on them as well. And then I just need to finish off some of these straps. Like this one has, I haven't done all the top stitching on this one as yet. I've done one side of the top stitching but not the other, so those will sew up really quickly once I get going on those. So that's the kind of the limited amount of sewing that I've done this week. But as I say, I've been trying to map out in my mind when I'm going to get time to sew the different projects that I'm looking to do over the next up to the lead up to December. And of course the dreaded coat is still in in the background, that is cut out now. I've done a tiny bit of sewing on it. I don't think I've done anything on it this week because Christmas stuff has taken over. Eventually it will happen. Eventually it will happen and I'll stop waffling on about it. So I have got pajamas that I'm looking to sew up for my 2 sons. I've also got some that I'm looking to sew up for my husband. But I'll talk about my son's ones first of all. So in my gift to November video, I showed you these 2 fabrics. And the idea was to sew up this one for my younger son and this one for my older son. Now I've actually got more of this fabric than I thought. So I've been having a little think about whether to sew up both my son's pajamas in this. So I'm going to use the True Bias Hudson pants for the bottoms and probably the Waves and Wild Hot Chocolate pattern, but just with the crew neck rather than the hoodie for the tops. Or I might just use the Raglan Waves and Wild Raglan Explorer tee with the long sleeves for the tops. Haven't quite decided yet. But I've got a question for you. So I don't have a Christmas jumper, which I just think is barking, seeing as how I sew clothes for myself. So I was wondering whether I should use one of these fabrics to sew up something for myself. And I also want to talk to you about ribbing options and get your opinion. So this fabric, what do we think about the colouring on me? Is it a bit pale? And then I've got some white ribbing fabric, you know, for the cuffs and in that neckband and things. So do I go with something for my younger son in this one with the white rather than something for me? What do you think? And then the other fabric, which I just think is so fun and I am more drawn to, if I'm honest with you, is this one. I think I've got enough, I think, to sew up pajamas for my son and something for myself. I might not have enough though, and obviously I did buy it with the idea of buying something for my son. So if I've got enough, do I make something for myself out of this one or the blue one? What do we think? And do we think this green ribbing fabric works? Now this green is more of a kind of like a sagey green. Do you think that's going to look a bit weird, or do you think it's okay? I don't have any red, and the red is kind of got a browny tone to it as well. It's quite unusual. Do I go with black ribbing, or do I go with white ribbing? So that's my that's my dilemma, folks. What do you think? Do I make something for myself from these as well as my son? Do I use this fabric? Do I use the green ribbing? Do I use black ribbing? Help me out. Tell me what you think. I don't know. So in terms of projects this week, I want to finish off those bags. I want to make a start on the pajamas, potentially the top for me, but I'm not too worried about getting that done this week. That could be something for another week, but if I've got the right colour on the overlocker, maybe that's a plan. Not quite sure. This is the only thing I've bought this week. That's entirely very boring for you guys to know about. And the only other thing that I've bought this week in the Black Friday sales, I've been very reserved, and there might be a fabric purchase to come, but I haven't made it yet, so I can't tell you about it. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to do it, but I have bought a couple of patterns. I've bought the True Bias men's Hudson pants to make some for my husband. I think I spoke about that a couple of weeks ago, that I was thinking about doing that. So obviously I've taken advantage of the discount. And I've also bought the Nico top and dress pattern, which is a high neck, a little bit like the Tilly and the Buttons Freya sort of mock turtleneck type or roll neck top. But it's obviously got a better size range on it. There's also a dress option as well, but I'm very unlikely to make that. I think for me it would be a bit too clingy as a dress option, but I think as a layering piece for the top option, I think that will be quite a good thing in my wardrobe. So I'm looking forward to using that pattern over the winter months, but I think definitely needs to be after Christmas now. I think I've set myself too many plans and ideas in my head, but those are the only things that I've bought so far in the Black Friday sales. Have you guys bought anything at all? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always interested to know. I know people have different thoughts on Black Friday. My take on it is, you know, it's quite handy if they've got things in mind that you were already thinking of buying. But I think, you know, it is tempting to go a little bit over the top. Again, each to their own. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on it. You know, I think I've had a bit of fun having a look at different things, but I did buy a lot of fabric in October because it was my birthday and I went to the knitting and stitching show, and I haven't got round to sewing, I think, any of that up yet. So yeah, I haven't put myself on like a fabric ban or anything, but I was mindful that unless there was something that I really wanted, or I'd had in mind that I'd wanted for ages, that I wasn't going to go sort of mad in the Black Friday sales. As I say, there are a couple of things that I've potentially got my eye on that I might buy later on today or over the weekend if the sale is still on at those particular shops, but we'll see. I'm not really sure. So it's a quick Friday sews for me today. I really hope that you've managed to fit in some sewing this week. Let me know what you're sewing. Let me know if you're taking part in the gift to November. I've really been enjoying watching everybody's sort of vlogs and things. There's been some amazing ideas. I think people have come up with some fantastic things. So if you haven't checked out that sort of series of videos from different vloggers, do check them out, because, you know, they're not just items that you can make for Christmas. It could be for any gifts for people or for yourself. So yeah, do check those out as well. And I think I will round up for today. Sorry it's a bit short and sweet from me today, not a huge amount to tell you. Sorry if I'm looking a little bit dishevelled today. I had very limited sleep last night, children waking me up and things, and then I couldn't get back to sleep after about 4:30 this morning, and so I'm feeling a little bit tired today, so apologies if my appearance isn't very good today. Anyway, that's me done for today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope you fit in some sewing, and until next time, take care. Happy sewing. Bye.